I don't know. I just feel like I'm behind on everything lately.
You're not behind. You're just comparing yourself to people who don't sleep.
So today we just got a new AI video talking model that turns out to be about just as good as Veo 3.1 and 10 times cheaper.
I want my fucking money by Friday. Or I want a body. I'd much rather have the money. I'll take care of it, boss.
That's right, Kling AI just released their 2.6 Preview 01 model, and this is their first model to have native audio, which is exactly what you need if you are someone who takes AI narrative filmmaking seriously. And in this video, I'm going to go over the testing that I've done with this new model. I'm going to give you some of my best prompting tips so that your scenes actually look realistic and convincing. I'm going to also point out the things that still need improvement and how this new release stacks up in terms of pricing. So with that said, let's get right into the video. So again, what I'm doing in this video is just going over some of the quick testing that I did with this new model. It's not going to be exhaustive. I plan to do that in a separate video, but I also want to mention that if you don't have a Kling AI account and if you want to get started with them completely for free, then be sure to check the description below this video, and there you'll find the affiliate link that will take you to their sign up page and allow you to go ahead and get started. And of course, if you use our affiliate link, it's no extra cost to you, but it does help us out here and it is very much appreciated. Now again, as I mentioned, full transparency, I am a Kling AI creative partner, and when they gave us access to this model about a week ago, they also gave us the link to this Kling Video 2.6 user guide, and I'm not sure if they'll link to it once the model becomes available, but I will try to remember to leave the link to this guide somewhere in the comments or in the description of this video. And we'll just take a look at a bit of what it says here so that you can follow along if you are not familiar with Kling AI. It says previously, Kling's video models could only generate silent visuals. Creators had to manually find voiceovers, add sound effects, and adjust the pace, an overly complex process that made it hard to achieve true immersion. Now the all-new Video 2.6 model has arrived. It generates visuals, natural voiceovers, matching sound effects, and ambient atmosphere in a single pass, bridging the worlds of sound and visuals. And again, you can go through this guide and read through everything yourself, but the other section of this document that I want to call out is the supported audio types. And as you can see here, it has most of the things most AI filmmakers would be interested in, such as voiceover narration and dialogue. Some of you may be interested in singing or rap. It also has ambient sound effects, object/action sound effects, and mixed sound effects, which is a combination of voice, background sounds, and sound effects for an immersive audiovisual experience. So in a nutshell, it supposedly does every single thing that Veo 3.1 can do currently. And more importantly, not only does it do text to audio visual, it supports image to audio visual, but currently it only allows for the start frame. I don't have any idea of when they will add in frames or if in frames will be available upon their release, but just with my experience with Kling, in frames always comes later, just FYI. In terms of how all of this works, when you're in Kling, you want to make sure that you're on the video tab. Right here it says AI video generator, and you want to make sure that you've got the Video 2.6 Preview 01 model selected. Now, it currently says Preview 01 for me, and again, I don't know if it's going to still say that once the model becomes available to the general public, but if anything, it's going to say Video 2.6. So make sure you have that selected, and again, you have the option of text to video and image to video with the start frame, and again, in frames are not supported with native audio at this time, and also multiple elements is not going to be supported as well. As you can see, when I clicked on multiple elements, it flipped over to Video 1.6. And also to note, you saw the video I did the other day about Kling 01. If you haven't seen that video, be sure to go and check that out. But basically what I wanted to call out is that this 01 image and video model is in no way tied to the 2.6 model either. Now, for the most part, the prompting for Kling Video 2.6 is going to be very similar to how you would prompt for Google Veo 3.1 and WAN 2.5. And no, you don't need any bullshit JSON prompting in no way. Just keep things simple. And for testing, I highly recommend you start with testing text to video because that's going to be the most rawest form of getting an idea how these models actually follow the instructions and just overall what it's capable of. This is also going to save you a lot of time trying to figure out what images you're going to generate for your scenes. If you're someone who already has a bunch of images and you just want to go back and add some dialogue to them, then that's great. You're going to be in a good spot. But again, since this is a brand new model, I highly recommend you start out by testing with text to video just to see how the model works and performs for yourself. And that's exactly what I did. I started off with text to video, and I don't really spend a lot of time on text to video. So let me just show you how lazy I was about this process. And this is something you can actually do yourself. I just took the Kling user guide that they gave us, and this is all I did. I said, see the attached PDF, give me some ideas for dialogue and voiceover narration scenes to test. Now, I will say this, all of this that you see here is actually in a project that I've got instructions for and other attachments to. And so I just want to put that out there in case you don't get the exact same results I'm getting, but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it should work for anybody if you did this exact same thing. The only thing that the instructions and the project does is tailor it more toward my particular taste, style, and voice. I mean, it does some other cool shit, but I'm not going to go into all of that in this video. But again, you could basically do the exact same thing, or you could just test any prompts that you've already tried with Veo 3.1 or 2.5. And so I'm going to show you some of the results of my text to video testing, but I do want to also mention this. I don't believe it affects anything, but I just want to point it out so that when you see it for yourself, you don't think that you're tripping. In this prompt box with Kling, sometimes it does not respect spacing. So as you can see there's an issue with spacing. There's an issue with spacing. Here's another issue with spacing. And here's yet another one. So again, all I did was copy the prompt from ChatGPT. And I think it's because ChatGPT has put some of these on different lines. Maybe that's what's causing it. So just keep that in mind. Again, it's not a big deal and it doesn't really affect anything. But again, if you're someone who's a bit obsessive compulsive, like maybe myself, that gets to be annoying. But again, I just wanted to call it out in case you run into the same issue and you end up thinking it's something you're doing wrong. And so this was the first scene that I tested. It says golden hour at a quiet beach, handheld vlog style camera following a young African-American creator in casual streetwear, waves rolling behind him. He walks slowly, occasionally looking at the horizon, then looking back at the camera. And this is the dialogue. It says, honestly, I thought I needed Hollywood money to make the films in my head. Then AI showed up and I realized the only thing I was missing was courage and Wi-Fi. Let's see how that turned out.
Honestly, I thought I needed Hollywood money to make the films in my head. Then AI showed up and I realized the only thing I was missing was courage and Wi-Fi.
And yeah, I would say it pretty much followed the prompt to a T. He's walking slowly, he's looking around, the camera's following him, he's looking back at the camera, and he says all of the dialogue. Now, I will say, and I've seen this with all of the talking models, the lips need work. They still sometimes seem a bit rubbery, but as with all of these AI models, we can expect all of this to improve with subsequent releases. Now, again, this is why I told you it's very important to just start with text to video, because if you spend a lot of time generating start frames just to test this out, then you eventually run into what I'm going to show you right now. So we do see where this model starts to break down, and it mostly happens when there are actually two people in the scene at the same time. The first thing is this. Pretty much at this point, 99% of the time, you will have at some point in the video, both people's lips moving while either of them are saying dialogue. And this is what I've dubbed dialogue bleed. And we see this a lot with the avatar models like Hydra and even the old Kling AI avatar model. I've always found it to be the case if there's more than one person in the scene, at some point both of their lips will be moving in sync.
The render queue is backed up again. If this crashes, we're dead.
Relax.
Worst case, we call it a cinematic glitch and make it a feature, not a bug.
And that scene would actually work if both of them weren't moving their lips at the same time. You probably wouldn't notice the difference. But if we look at the prompt itself, it says character B, older man, calm tone. He's the one that's supposed to say the rest of that line. He just says relax, and then it switches back to the woman. She says worst case, we call it a cinematic glitch and make it a feature, not a bug. And it happened more than once. In this scene right here, the guy in a hoodie starts off, says all of his lines, and then the woman on the right says no, and she's supposed to continue on by saying we just spent 6 months proving that we're dangerous with a laptop, but it switches back to the guy.
Be honest, did we waste the last 6 months chasing this film?
No.
We just spent 6 months proving we're dangerous with a laptop.
And then you also see that there's problems with just the overall delivery. If we look at the prompt, it says, be honest, did we just waste the last 6 months chasing this film? And it doesn't really sound like a question. It's not really delivered that great. So there's definitely going to need to be some improvement in that regard. And here's another text to video example where the delivery is just off. And this would be a great scene if it were delivered correctly, because it's kind of supposed to be like, you know, one of those funny animation movies. She's telling the monster, big guy, mind pausing the apocalypse while I plug this in?
You've got to be kidding me, 5% battery? Now. Big guy mind pausing the apocalypse while I plug this in?
But again, the delivery is just off, so it just wouldn't work. Now, another big thing that this model struggles with is voiceovers. In both cases that I tested with this voiceover, the characters on the screen actually say the dialogue of the voiceover. You can see clearly in the prompt it calls for voiceover, and this is how it's supposed to be delivered. But this is actually how it turned out.
They told her you need a studio, a crew, a budget, but she only needed 3 things: a story, stubbornness, and a processor that wouldn't overheat.
So that looks absolutely ridiculous. Let's look at the other example.
Every night, the world brings its stories to my screen. Heroes, villains, headlines. But the ones that stay with me are the people who show up when no one's watching.
And again, the prompt says audio voiceover, and it's following the prompting guidance that Kling gave us, because even within this ChatGPT exercise, you know, I gave it the guide itself, but at some point in here, I told it to make sure that we're following the prompt guidance in the guide. So there's nothing going on with the prompt itself. And again, you could use the same prompting techniques that you use for Veo 3.1 or 2.5. At this point, it's just a model, and it's something that it struggles with. Now, for voiceovers, it's likely going to work a lot better if you don't have the person on the screen, but that kind of defeats the purpose of voiceovers in general. You should be able to have someone on the screen and not have them actually saying the dialogue of the person who's supposed to be doing the voiceover. But I'll just show you an example of that right here.
First, it's just a messy sentence, then a scribble, then a frame, then a sequence. And at some point, you stop prompting and start directing.
And again, it was the same story with some of the other videos that I tested. I'm not going to go through every single text-to-video example that I tested. But again, if you've got 2 people in the scene, just be on the lookout for that, because it's likely going to happen. Hopefully, there's a fix that comes to that soon. I've also brought this up in their official Discord server in our creative partner channel. So yes, they are well aware of that, because other people chimed in as well and have said they are running into the same problem. So maybe it will be fixed in Kling Veo 2.7. And so now we're going to get into what excites me the most and what actually worked out the best, and that's actually doing image to video. And before I forget, let me just do something right quick. I'm going to copy this here. I'm going to go back to text to video. I'm going to drop this in here. And yes, so it's going to be the same exact credit usage. So if you come down here, you have the option of doing 5 seconds, which costs 50 credits, and 10 seconds, which costs 100 credits. And at least right now, it's only defaulted to the professional VIP setting. I don't know if that opens up to something different once it's actually released to the general public. But again, 100 credits to generate 10 seconds, 50 credits to generate 5 seconds, and the cost is exactly the same if you use text to video or image to video. And so as I mentioned, since there's the problem of having both people talking when there are 2 people in the scenes, all you have to do is just generate scenes with people that are in separate images, but the entire environment and scene match close enough to where it would be believable as a reverse shot. And to do that, I ended up using Claude, and I just said something like this. I need to create a matching dialogue scene between 2 people. I said, let's just say they're 2 female roommates, but I need 2 separate images that have enough continuity to where it seems that they are in the same room or sitting at the same table. For example, one image is of a woman on the left. I also want a reverse shot of the other woman that naturally makes the scene look continuous. Then I told it to give me 2 Midjourney prompts because I wanted to generate both of the characters. And these were the scenes that generated, and you're gonna have to go through this to find something that's close enough to what you need. You're gonna have to be on the lookout for stuff like the hands. Like, this looks absolutely retarded. I'm surprised Midjourney is still having issues like this. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't spend a lot of time on this because I just wanted to quickly test this out to make sure that I wasn't wasting my time on something that I wouldn't be able to use or bring to my audience as something that would be useless. But out of all of those images, I ended up finding a shot of this woman right here on the left and this shot right here of the woman on the right. They look close enough. Again, if I would have spent more time on this, I probably would have got something that looked even more continuous, but I just wanted to do a basic test of this and generate how you could use this to have them cut together as if it were the same scene. And I probably showed you this at the beginning of the video, but let's go ahead and check it out again right now.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm behind on everything lately.
You're not behind. You're just comparing yourself to people who don't sleep.
And to get the dialogue, same thing. I just used Claude and told it to give me some sample dialogue scenes to choose from. I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I assure you I can write much better than that when it comes to screenwriting. And you can actually check out some of my older films on this channel where I actually made films with humans. But again, if you're just quickly testing this out, don't put too much thought into it. Now, in terms of pricing, you can clearly see that across the board, Kling 2.6 is cheaper than Veo 2.5 and Veo 3.1 standard. For a 5-second clip, the one I showed you that cost 50 credits, that's about 62 cents. And for a 10-second clip, that's the one I showed you that's 100 credits, you're looking at $1.23. Compare that to Veo 2.5 at 65 cents and $1.30 for 10 seconds. Veo 3.1 Fast, which is 75 cents for 5 seconds and maxes out at 8 seconds at 96 cents per. And then you get this huge ass jump to $2 for a 5-second Veo 3.1 standard clip and $3.20 for an 8-second Veo 3.1 standard clip. So you can clearly see the more models that we can get in this space that are direct competitors to Veo 3.1 is only going to be better for all of us AI filmmakers, because again, this pricing right here is just ridiculous. It's unsustainable. And honestly, that's probably why you don't hear a lot of people talking about Veo that much. It's just stupid expensive. But we all have to admit that it is a very good model, but honestly, it needs to be a lot better than what it is right now for people to shell out that kind of cash, because that's a lot of money to be paying for generations that fail more often than not. So again, having a new talking model from one of the top AI video players in this space, being able to generate cinematic scenes and dialogue at such a cheap price is a welcome early Christmas present to AI filmmakers everywhere. So what are you guys' thoughts? Do we have a new AI video narration contender in this space that can solidly compete with Veo 3.1 and Veo 2.5, and will you start using this model for your AI narrative films? Let me know in the comments below this video. I'm also interested in hearing you guys' test, how this is working out for you in your testing of this new model. Kling AI may or may not be looking at the comments of this video. Honestly, I don't know, they don't tell me, but just assume they are, and if there's any feedback that you want to leave them, be sure to leave it in the comments below this video. And for the rest of this month, I'm planning to wrap up the training on how to make an AI narrative film. This is one of the modules in the AI Cinematographer's Midjourney Playbook, where not only are you going to learn how to make an AI narrative film start to finish, I also give you a module on how to make attractive AI characters. So if you're a student in the AI Cinematographer's Midjourney Playbook, be on the lookout for that. And if you're not a student, then be sure to scan the QR code on this screen or click the link below the video to learn more and enroll today. And if you need more training on how to make narrative scenes, the various camera angles, and a very cool way to storyboard your AI narrative film and be able to see your entire film from a bird's eye view start to finish, then be sure to check out this video on your screen. As always, if you found this review helpful, then be sure to hit the thumbs up button and also be sure to subscribe to the channel, because this lets YouTube know that you enjoy videos like this and want to be alerted to the next one that we upload. Once again, my name is Paul Donis Maximus. Thanks for checking out this video. Please join me in the next one.